Hi, everyone. So 3 years ago, like today, like March 17, but the 2021 March 17, um, I finally settled on my series title. There are 5 books, and the title for the overarching series, I finally decided on it. Um, this would be his third birthday today. So it's like no longer crawling, it's like up and walking. And to celebrate. So it's the abbreviation. It's TCA TCG. I don't want to say what that stands for yet. I'll disclose that soon. To celebrate, I want to do a progress update, and so that's what this journal is about. And in the last journal, in the most recent journal, I mentioned that like the very next one I write is going to be the shortest one ever that I've ever done, and then I was describing this one because this is the very next one, and I wrote it, and it's not that. Right. So it could be perceived as like I lied, but I think there's an important distinction between lying and just plain old mispromising, which is what I think I did, which I do in the art, like in normal life, like non-art life. I'm true to my word. But in the arts, I let the spirit decide, And if the spirit comes up with some whimsical decision that's contrary to what I had thought, like that's mandate to me. Like artistic integrity, I put before all else, and that's a tyrannical dictator. Um, so if the spirit mandates, if the spirit decrees some, artistic decision, like who am I to like disagree or doubt it? Oh, I'm going to go in another direction, right? Who am I? I'm a lowly mispromiser, right? Who's getting very close to having a publication date. So let me talk about that. Let me do my progress update. That's what this journal is, which I was not concise in writing, at least as concise as I intended to be. Journal 73, Sunday, March 17th, 2024. Anthead coming soon. Hi, everyone. Years ago, I wrote a lot of songs. They were mostly bad, but unlike most other bad things in life, those songs took considerably longer to dispose of than compose of. After writing one, I'd play it for a while, maybe once a week. I'd pick up my guitar and pluck and sing my way through because it meant something to me. But as time passed, I'd play it less and less until eventually I'd pick up my guitar to play it and wouldn't remember how. I still remembered its melody, though. I could hum it for a few more eventuallys. But I'd ultimately forget that too. In the end, the song took an hour to compose and a year and a half to decompose. That was the pattern of my life for a couple of decades, but after enough decompositions, I realized the world doesn't need my music. I mean, there are a few songs I'm still fond of, but my fondness is about the memory of writing them, where I was, the chaotic circumstances, the intense feelings. It has nothing to do with the music. Nostalgia is simply indissoluble from notation. But even if every listener experienced my exact memories upon hearing my songs, they still wouldn't compare with Vanity or My Life and Times. Not the full band versions where the stereophonic clutter expels the magic, just Corgan's beautiful, simple, utterly unimprovable one-track acoustic demos. One day, while I was sitting in a festering heap of my musical compost, I found myself wishing I had written them. But then I realized someone already did, Billy Corgan. So there's no need for me to. I can already listen to them whenever I want. And since I can never write a song as perfect as those, what's the point in prolonging the effort? From my vantage, the canon of music is already sufficiently complete. I have no notes to add. So I decided life's audience is a much more enjoyable place to be. But I spent years looking for the novel I want to read and never found it. So I decided to create it. My first progress update appeared in Journal 2. I updated that update in Journal 23, and my most recent update was in Journal 36, which was a while ago, so it's time for another update. Book 1, 78%. The Ballad of Farharth, 57%. Book two, 66%. Book three, 32%. Book four, 10.3%. And book five, 20.5%. Those are my rough percentages, but there's one more update to report. Book one is shaped like an ant. It has three well-segregated body parts that are all similarly sized, and I will be chopping that ant up and publishing it in series. The head, book one, part one, is coming soon. I'm aiming for second Rhinoa when the barrow beetles emerge. Then I plan to release the mesosoma a year later and the metasoma a year after that. All three will be published by Bonston Books, LLC. You'll meet Bonston in book one, part one. Right, that's it. Marie just walked in. That's why I was waving to. I'm going to address her more properly now. So in the journal, I mentioned that there are some songs that I've written like in my catalog that I retain some fondness for. It's like Monster would be one of them. Um, Lost Balloons would be another. Parts and Latelys, that would be another. But what makes all three of these worth the fondness is that I wrote them in a time of chaos. Right? I was a PhD student at the time, and it was just hectic, like chaos everywhere. And then I'd go home and I'd write these songs, and each one of them, I mean, like Monster took me 15 minutes from the time I picked up my guitar with no intention of writing a song until I had finished recording it. It was 50, like recording is sort of a loose. I had mentioned that I was a PhD student. I was a graduate research assistant and I was collecting data. It was motivational interviewing, and I had this Olympus handheld recorder, and I would record conversations with subjects. But then I would go home and I still had that recorder, and I'd hit record and I'd write songs. And so between subject conversations were songs, just little one track, again, voice memo recorded songs. Monster, 15 minutes. Lost Balloons was half an hour. And then like a Parts and Latelys, that was a proper-ish recording, but the whole thing, I don't know, a couple of hours, something like that. And so that's what I sort of cherish is the memories of those. But for me, I mean, back then, it's same as today. Melody has always been secondary to poetry, to lyrics. And so the word, like the melody for me was just like peanut butter for the pills. I mean, it was these salty, chunky, like globs of notes, right, to smear onto the words to make them go down easier. And so these days, my writing is just like I'm just swallowing pills raw. Like I still listen to music every day. I listen to music, but my own writing is just words on the page. And like I still noodle on guitar. I mean, it's just right over there, kind of by where Marie is. So I'll pick it up and I'll invent little melodies and stuff, but I don't record them anymore. I don't retain them. I just let them go as they arise. They're sort of a peaceful, it's like meditative. Because I think there are more talented, more equipped people for songs to record songs and release them to audio. Like my friend Aaron, my friend Lum, he lives in Japan now, but we used to play together all the time. And he was far and away the better of the two. Um, but he has been sending me, I mean, I've known him since elementary school. We go way back. And just like yesterday, 2 days ago, something, he sent me some recent songs, and they're so good. His recent work, and it's relieving. That's like beyond anything that I could musically do, and it's so relieving to know that being in life's audience, there's just never been a better time to bask in life's audience. Which like nobody wants to be there anymore. Like everybody needs to be the creator now. So as soon as I resolve to join life's audience, it's like vacant. But I hope in whatever your creations are, whatever your artistic creations are, I hope you find like an ecological niche, like a little uninhabited environment where they can find um, compassion and connection. Okay.